What's up, you guys? Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to fill out a proof of service on a small claims case in California specifically. So first of all, this is what it looks like. You can actually find this proof of service. I'm in my portal here. I actually have an affidavit generator attached to my portal, which my community members and my students get when they're a Mighty Premium member. You can go check that out if you're interested. You just go to mightyprocessserver.com and click on this button. You can sign up. All right, so let's get into it. So there's a couple places that you can find these things. You know what? California is really good about helping people with small claims. It's actually really cool. So you actually can come over here and go, it says forms to start your case. Just search small claims in California and this self-help will show up. And a lot of times these self-help things are not very helpful. This is actually super helpful. They actually have a what is it called? A demand letter generation tool in here, which is super cool. I'll link that below. And so basically you fill it out, you answer all the questions that it has, and it'll generate a document basically that is required before you can even file a small claims case. This really doesn't matter if you're a process server and you're trying to fill out the documents, but it's a really helpful resource to give to your clients. So if I hit start a case, it gives me the different documents that are necessary. So the SC100 is basically telling the court what the person has a problem with. Tell the court who you are and why you want this money and da-da-da-da-da. Now, the reason why that's important for what we're doing is we're going to pull up the document so you can see where to get the information. So whenever you're doing a proof of service, specifically in California, you want to, let's just pull this up really quick. So this is the one here. This is the document. And so this is what I've downloaded into my portal, as you can see here. And so you could just fill this thing out and download it. Okay. You could just do it right here. And you could do that. That's definitely something you could do. But before we go into going step by step through that, which I'm going to show you exactly how to fill it out, I want you to look at the SC100. So the SC100, it looks a lot like, man, we're really zoomed in on this thing, aren't we? It looks a lot like the small claims proof of service. Actually, very, very similar to the small claims proof of service, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to copy the information from the case. It would say like SC, something like this. And then you'd have the case name. It's almost always like plaintiff, versus defendant. And it's just their names, right? Right there, usually the case name. And then there's always like a hearing date, whatever the hearing date is. Now what happens is with small claims is there's very specific rules for how many days you need to serve this before the hearing date. So if the hearing date is like January 1st, 2026 or something like that, or no, let's say January 30th. Now, I know they change it all the time, so I don't want to, I'm not going to say specific rules. I'm just going to let you know you got to know the specific rule for how many days. So if this is the date and you have 15 days, like the recording at the time of this recording, you have 15 days before the date of the hearing if you were going to serve them personally. So I could serve this, let's just say roughly January. This is what I would do actually in practice is I would say, okay, I have to start making attempts on this right away, because if I'm on January 1st now, because I need to serve this before January 15th. So I just kind of give myself a good 15, 16 days before the hearing, because oftentimes they do count court days too. We're not going to get it too specific because I don't want, things could change and I don't want you to reference my video. Mike said that you have to serve it like this, but it does tell you how it needs to be served. So we're not filling out, as you can see, I'm kind of filling out the documents as if I'm suing someone right now. That's what I'm doing here. So and just to be clear, you don't fill this out. The actual clerk stamps this and fills this out for you. See? Clerk fills this section out. So I want to back up and just say, I'm I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. And you guys, when you're completing the proof of service, use some common sense. Like, read every single word on the paper that you're filling out. Okay. The reason why we're looking at this is because this is where we're going to get the information to fill out our proof of service. So I'm actually going to use my affidavit generator. I'm going to go back over here. Okay. And so the reason why is because, well, first of all, it's not so zoomed in, but also because I can pull dynamic data. So what's really cool about when you have a portal is, like, inside of my portal, you can actually, these are fake jobs right here. And so you can actually have your list of jobs and keep track of them. You can keep track of all the attempts that you make on the serve. And then once you're done, you add up all your attempts and then you create an affidavit. Now, there's much more to the portal, but I'm not trying to sell you that. I'm just trying to show you how you can fill this out. So if you're if you're serving a person, write the person's name below. They say this as if they phrase this as if you're you have a choice. You really don't. Like, if you're serving a person, the person's name goes here. Well, duh, because we okay, let's go back to the SC100, which is where the document is filed with the court. It's right here. You're the plaintiff, or not you. Sorry, you're the process server. So your client, 99% of the time, if you're hired to serve a SC100, it's 100% of the time. If it's a SC100 like this, then your client is the plaintiff. So we'll just say client. That's who that is. And then if there's more than one plaintiff, this could be the client's business name sometimes. If they're going to say they, or the client's partner or wife or whatever, there could be lots of things here. Now, here's where you're looking. This is where you look. Okay. So the defendant, the person, business, or public entity being sued is servee name or party to serve. So we're actually just going to call this person John Smith or John Q. Public. Okay. So John Q. Public, if that's what's here, then that's what's going to go on our affidavit right here. So, but this is pulling directly from my portal. However, inside this affidavit generator is the best affidavit builder on the market. Trust me, I've used all the softwares. This just takes the legal document and puts it so I can write over it. That's what else do I want? Like, I want to be able to complete a proof of service. Why are we mapping out like entire websites to create a document? Like, I just want to create a document. So if I wanted to change the name, I could just boom, John Q. Public. I could just paste it in. Okay. If for some reason I don't have text somewhere and I want to have text somewhere, I could just come over here to my static elements, grab a text block, boom, plug it in right here. Where do I want it? Oh, I decide I don't want it. I just exit out of it. Gone. So there's John Q. Public. All right. So I'm pulling this information for this proof of service from the documents that were served. So it's super important that when you're serving a document that you make a copy of it. There's one time that I served a document and I didn't know what I served. And then I had to produce a proof of service to the customer. And they were like, "Where's our proof?" And I was like, "What was the guy's name again?" Don't do that. It is not okay to do that. You need to make it. You always need to scan in at least one copy of the documents that you're serving. Okay, so the street address, this street address right here, sometimes it could be a place that you're going to. Let's just say 123 Main Street. But don't get too weirded out if this address is not the address that the customer is asking you to go to. Because sometimes they will have put this on the documents for the court and then they come to find out that it's that it's just not, they're not there. So they might have hired other people to try to serve them there, but it doesn't really matter. You don't care. This is irrelevant, okay? I mean, if they don't give you any other information and they're like, "Yeah, I put it on the documents," well, then this is where you're going to go. But you want to confirm, right? You want to make sure you confirm. And I teach that to my people in my community, my students, my community members. I consider them like community, not students, but I do teach marketing and different things inside of my community. So what we're gonna put here, we're gonna come back to this stuff right here in a second. But I just want to show you the address. So the address is gonna go down here, which is kind of strange, but it's true. So if I was serving John Q. Public in person, I'm just gonna indicate the service address where I served him right here. Okay. So this is it. So homeowner, maybe this address is the same one that's on the documents, and maybe it's not. Right? I don't know. Maybe. So these text fields got moved around a little bit, so I'm moving them. So boom. Move this up. Okay, there we go. Okay, sometimes you gotta move things around a little. All right. Now, if you had to, you could just delete all these and start from scratch because you have all the information over here. Now, see how the information's already popped up here, but we'll come back to that in a second. But the address where you served it is gonna go right here. So sometimes that comes from the documents, and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So that's it. Now, if for some reason you had to serve it to, like, come back up here to the top where it says who I'm serving, the defendant area. If it says that I'm serving this person, great, but there may be a second person. Or if the defendant is a corporation, a limited liability, or a public entity, list the person or agent authorized for service. So if this didn't say John Q. Public and this said Main Street Cleaners, okay, LLC. Okay. Well, you'd put Main Street Cleaners LLC up here. So instead of putting it here, we wouldn't even fill this part out. We would get rid of this. We just exit this out. Actually, I'm going to use that because that's who I served. But I'm actually serving the entity of Main Street Cleaners. So I'm going to put Main Street Cleaners here. That's the name. And then the person, let me just move this. I'm going to get rid of this. And the person that I'm serving on behalf of Main Street Cleaners is John Q. Public. Do you see how it's different? If these things ever get in the way, you can drag them, move them out of the way like that. And then, so in his job title is important because maybe he's not the president. Maybe he's, for LLCs, they have managers and limited managers, stuff like that. So I'm just going to say he's the general manager. Okay. You see this a lot with law firms where they have multiple people. They have limited partners, stuff like that. There's different types of entities. I'm not going to get into it today, but I do know I have went through it a lot trying to figure out the type of entity I wanted to have. I ended up choosing an LLC for most of my companies, but because I like the pass-through income. But you have to talk to a tax professional about that. Do not take my advice about taxes. Trust me. So this is what it would look like if I was serving a business and then I was trying to find an individual. The thing to remember is that with small claims, it's really easy to serve because you have the option to subserve. And you can do it based on so many attempts. Okay, at the time of this recording, you can do 3 attempts at different times and different days. So 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 at night. As long as you have due diligence, you could give it to somebody else. If it's a business serve like this, you're able to serve it on the very first attempt to anybody who is apparently in charge at the place of business. So if I come for John Q. Public and they're like, oh no, he's never here. But he does work here. He's the boss. He's the president, or whatever. I could serve it to somebody who is there, and this is where I would leave. This is where it gets a little more complicated. I'm serving Main Street Cleaners, but this is the person authorized to accept service, general manager. But who I'm actually serving, we're going to get to the documents in a second. Who I'm actually serving is substituted service. So what I'd end up doing is I'd end up moving all of my information, my checkbox, the date that I came by, the time that I came by. It's getting a little crazy here. The time that I came by. I'm going to get rid of this checkbox. I'm going to move this down here to PM. Okay. All my address stuff. I'm going to move down. Now you can just type this out, but I like to do it on my builder because it makes it simple for me. And then I can just sign it right away. So, and then the city. Okay, this is all just made up information, by the way. So I subserve it. So now I have to put a checkbox right here. Let me grab a checkbox. I just click it. You don't drag and drop. You actually just click and click. So I'm going to click. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this. I always have to reread it. Competent adult at home of and living with the person in one. Okay? The problem with one is we're not serving a person. Okay? Take it for what it says. The problem with one is we're not serving a person. We're serving an entity. So I can't do that one. So I'm not serving it at home. So now I can't. I'm not going to serve it at home. And there are cases where you can do that, but this let's follow this. An adult who seems to be in charge where the person in one usually works. Okay. Again, that's serving one. Okay. And it's okay that it's serving one, but it's a place where the person works, and that would be assuming I was serving, well, this is one, but 1B. So is John B. usually work at Main Street Cleaners located at 123 home address? This is confusing now because I put home address. Anyway, imagine this is a business again. Okay, home address. I'm really confusing you guys now. So we can serve him at home. We could serve him at work where he apparently usually works. Or if we're substituting service at a place, an adult who seems to be in charge where the person in one usually receives mail. Now, this is where they really stretch the boundaries in California. I mean, like, I could go to a place where he hasn't received mail, or he receives mail, but he hasn't lived in months. For example, a parent's house. This is where a lot of people get mixed up, and they don't know where else to serve it. Just find out where he grew up, like where his parents live. You could probably subserve it to his parents. Don't quote me on that. I know some people are okay, but trust me, a lot of collection agencies do this. Private post office, not a U.S. post office. There is no known physical address. So you can kind of get into the weeds on this, but I would just say, like, if you end up giving it to somebody else when you're out trying to serve it, this is a great one to check. Okay, I give it to somebody else where they receive mail. But if it's at a work location, it's definitely this one. Okay. If it's at a work location, it's definitely the second one. And you can read it. You can see it where the person and someone else who's in charge where the person usually works. And so now what? Now what? So I gave it to, who did I give it to? Like, it just seems so weird, right? Okay, well, it has right here. Name or description of the person I gave the copies to. Now, I think it's crazy that it says or description as if I'm going to give it to someone without getting their name. And some servers do that, which is wild to me. Like, I would definitely drop serve somebody without getting name, but I'm still going to go back. I'm going to keep trying to get a name of somebody, or I'll call back later. And so what you do is you just go ahead and take a text block here, plug this in, make it longer. We're just going to say we gave it to Karen Bradshaw because she don't want to accept service. So what you do is you go Karen Bradshaw, and then you say, I always put a title. Right here it doesn't ask for it, but I always put a title. I say receptionist. And most documents do ask for it. It just doesn't specify it here. It does say description, name or description. So I just put Karen Bradshaw, receptionist. She's accepted documents on behalf of the business. Now, the reason why I haven't gone through this whole process with the individual is because it's so simple. Like, if it was just John Q. Public as a person, not an entity, you just put his name right here that you're serving him, and you'd have all the address information right here, the date, time that you went by there and served him, and that's it. You're done. Like, that's why it's so nice. Personal service is such a slam dunk, you know. Comment below if you love personal service, if personal service gets you going. Okay, so one thing with subservice is the reason why you need more days. Remember I was saying about the days, like how many days that you need to serve it before the hearing. whatever the hearing date is because I said 30 days before the hearing. You need to, if you're going to subserve it, you need to do it within, I think it's 30 days now before the hearing. And the reason why is because you need to mail it. And the idea is that they're going to get it in the mail, still within 15 days before the hearing, so they have an opportunity to file an answer. So it doesn't happen very often, but because they can answer by mail, and we're going to get to that in a second. All right, so I'm not finished yet. So I just finished the filling out basically the address, the time and date that I served it to Karen on behalf of John Q. Public, who is the authorized representative of the corporation. So sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Your client sometimes will say, no, you got to go back. All right. But if you want to take this very linearly and you're like, Mike, why are you skipping around so much? We're going to get to it in a second. So I'm filling this out because it all kind of relates to, as a process server, the information that you've gathered as a process server. So we know who we're serving, we know where we served it, we know who we gave it to, and then we're going to back up and make sure as we fill out the proof of service that all the information is correct, okay? So once I've subserved it, that's what it's called, subserving. It says right here, I need to put copies of the documents listed in 3. So here you go. So I need to put copies of the documents listed in 3. So let's come up here to 3. All right, and the SC100 is the one that we've been talking about. Obviously, you are not going to serve you're not going to serve a copy of the defendant's claim in order to go to small claims court. But sometimes people will put a blank copy of this, like they'll want you to put a blank copy, so that they could just fill it out and return it. But you don't have to do that. You could check it though if you wanted to. So if you're going to do it, just check it. That's the idea. So let's grab a checkbox. And so if I wanted to put something else here, one common thing that you will see here is like a declaration or some other thing. If it's an attachment, like an exhibit to SC100, you don't have to put it as another document. It's already attached. It's just an attachment. So don't worry about putting that. But what you would put here is if you have a new legal document name, like another document from the court. Let's just give you an example. So back to our list here on the court's website. So, yeah, that would be an attachment. You could list that since it's listed out like this. So, let's see what else. Attorney dispute, authorization to appear on behalf of a party. Yeah, so all of this kind of stuff, any of these additional type of documents that get served would just show up right here. So you could say attachment to plaintiff's claim. Yeah, so generally we don't put this because it's just an attachment, but you could put this like this. You could go SC100A because it's just a part of 100, so normally you wouldn't put it, but now some things, if it's an order for examination, it usually means that it has has a short turnaround time, meaning it's going to happen fast. So you have to personally serve the ex partes, or order for examination is another way of saying it. So yeah, sometimes they want to know assets, so they can serve a SC134. Whatever it is you serve, you just check it off, okay? So this right here is referencing the document served in 3. Okay, and so you have to put the exact thing that you served them, you have to put it in an envelope, sealed the envelope, and put first class prepaid postage on it, and that you've addressed the envelope to the person in 1, which we have in 1B up here, 1B, okay, so that's it. And then we're going to go ahead and mail it, and we have to say, we mailed it to the same address where we served it, and I mailed the envelope on date. So you could just come over here, grab a date, and if you want to make it really easy, you can come down here to what we call service details as dynamic data, and grab the service date. Oh no, it just has one on here for right now. Okay, we're gonna add another one. I'm going to have them add another one. Yeah. So you can just put this like this, and then you can just say add a date. So let's go 12/07 25. Okay. So same idea. Okay. Boom. So that's when and now if you mailed it the next day, that's fine. But a lot of clients really want you to mail it the same day. Because if you do it, let's say the 8th, now it's one more day they have to wait before filing a default or having any issues like that. So let's just say the 7th. We always mail it the same day unless we served it super late that night. Then we mailed it the next day. And what's kind of strange, you're putting with the city and state where you mailed it from, but there's no like specifics. So you could literally put anything here. I don't recommend this, but I did it one time. I put Catalina Islands because I'm like, nobody's reading this. Now you want to put the city and state because they might check the post office from where you have it, and so you want to have like this, wherever you're from, wherever you mailed it from. And what did you do? Did you go to the post office and put it in a mail drop, or did you go to the post office and a place where people come into your office and pick up your mail, or did you actually hire someone to go deliver it to the mail, and then that's the idea. So completed form estimate, yeah. So there's some stuff you could do there, but no, we just put it in the mail drop. Like, we're not weirdos. We just put it in the mail drop. So let's check the box. Check mail drop. Boom. There we go. All right. So this is all a little bit off. I mapped this thing before we did our last big update. So what you can do is you can actually just map this out. You can delete whatever fields you don't need. Inside of our portal, you're able to map your own templates. I'm going to show you that in a second. But the idea is that you can map everything yourself so that it makes it easier for you to use in the future. So here you got the server's name that pulls straight from the portal here. So whatever name was in the portal area or in the section for the server, it'll show up. And if you needed to edit it, you can very simply just click edit and edit the information inside the job. So this is always going to be the server's info, server's phone, server's address. This is just in case the court needed to reach out or someone wanted to subpoena the server, they could. That's kind of the idea. Okay. Boom. So, and then fee for service, I want to add a fee for service. I'm just going to throw a text block in here. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm just going to put, $200. That's what I would charge, something like $200. County of registration. In California, you get registered, you don't get licensed. And so I was always registered in Butte County. And then, registration 107, that's what I always had. And so the date actually goes automatically when you sign it. So the signature block is already here. I'm just going to add it again because I think it's a new one. Yeah, this is an old... I don't know if this is going to work. This is an old template. Yeah, this is an old template. I got to re-upload the SC104. But it's okay. You can still see. So it's here. And then the court details I actually have in the other section. Right here. Signature date. Boom. Yep. And then we can go server. Let's see here. Server detail. Process server details is the name. Process server name. Throw that in there. Okay. All right. So once you're finished, actually, there's a couple more things. So we didn't do the court info. It's already here, but what we want to do now is we want to go actually look at the case info will be here. So you take the case number, come back over here, type in the case number. Again, you can just come over here and grab a text blocks if you needed to. But our dynamic data will automatically pull case number information like this, and you can just plug it in right here. Easy peasy. Case name is often just plaintiff versus defendant, so you could just pull the dynamic data of the plaintiff versus defendant. I just don't know how that would look on here because they're bigger. So sometimes you'll see like the last name versus last name. So like, Reed, like a divorce case would be like Reed versus Reed, like that, something like that you'll see on this type of document. And again, you just come back over here and take it straight from the document, whatever it says right here. Plaintiff versus defendant. The court information. Some courts are very specific about this. I know in Chico, Butte County, they have like Butte, and then it's like, so because it says County of Butte, and then you have specifically here the full court address listed out. And so you could grab that from our dynamic data over here, full court details. So you just plug in the court details however you want it. You can drag and drop it, make it look how you want, and then it'll just show up there. Now, one of the cool things, I'll just kind of end it on this, is like, this is it. Okay, you can go ahead and sign it. Let me just go ahead and sign and save. Now, if I was going to send it to another server, because I hired somebody else like in another area to do this for me, I could just hit send to sign and then put the person's email in there, and it'll automatically send it to them. But in this case, I'm going to sign. Now, in my portal, it makes it super simple. You can just add a signature. You can just put your signature like this and sign it right in here so it's saved. Hit add signature. Okay, so if I wanted to add my signature to the affidavit where I've mapped it, I just hit add signature, and it's gonna add it down here. See? Boom, signature's on there. Now I should be able to look here in the portal at the download. Just pull it up, and there's all my information mapped out onto the document. You got the SC100. We subserved it. We sent it in the mail the next day. I think I moved the name down here, so it only has one field. Yeah, so you just put a text box down here instead of up there. Yeah, cool. So that's it. It's signed. It's ready to go. I would just add the name here again because I accidentally moved it. But that's it. That's how you fill out a small claims proof of service. And there's a couple of things to keep in mind. I mentioned some different service dates. They'll come over here and they'll stamp this at the courthouse. And you can use our portal. 123 Legal Support has our own e-filing portal in California. You're welcome to use it. It's 123legalsupport.com. Just click on e-filing and you can e-file with us. If you're interested in using our portal, you can go to mightyprocessserver.com and you can actually apply as a process server. We do not let everyone use it. You have to be a verified process server. We'll check you out, and if you're approved, we will list you on our directory as one of our verified MPS verified process servers. And so it's simple to just come over here, fill out some of the information that we ask you about your business. We ask you about your services and things like that, what states you serve in, what associations you're a part of, if any, how you found us, and then you subscribe. It's $97 per month. But you don't just get the access to the software, you also get a directory listing. As you can see, we click in the different states. We got process servers in every county in every part of the country. So it's pretty cool. Like literally anywhere you go, there will be some process servers in that area. And so you know some states only have one or two, and so you can actually get quite a bit of business from it. The last thing I'll tell you that you get access to when you become a Mighty Premium member is you get access to all of our premium courses. This training right now is going to live in the Mighty Dashboard course, where I teach you how to fill out all of the different proofs of service for each of the different cases in California. And our community members, right now we're pushing 1,000 members, 761 members. They're all professional process servers. We only let people in here who have specifically said where they serve, what they do, and we've invited them from all over the country. And so they are also teaching the different classes that we have in here. We give away prizes. Every month I give away a NAPS membership, the National Association of Professional Process Servers. I give away a $200 membership every month to the person who is most engaged. So if you see here, we have engagement numbers. Natasha's won multiple times. She'll probably win again this month. And she's out of Indiana. Crushing it. Dawn here is out of Oregon. She's super active. We got Sandra here. She's out of Texas, Houston, Texas. Jessica here. She's out of Washington. Adele's also in Houston, right? You just see all these South Carolina. Like there's process servers from all over the country in here, and I can't imagine building a process serving business without having all of these amazing resources. So come check it out. If you want to learn more, just go to mightyprocessserver.com and be safe out there as you're serving. There's no serve that's worth your life, so be safe, and let's make some money and have some fun while we do it. Take care, be safe, and as always, live mighty.